We're live. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get started. I'm going to open up the stream on YouTube. Let's see that it works. Everything runs. You can hear me. We'll get started. We have two painting processes today. It's going to be fun. Not my necessarily most complex paintings, but something nice to look at. I think one of them especially is quite nice, and you'll see. Let me know how you're doing. What time is it there? Are you painting? What are you working on? Let's chat for a bit. And as more people come in, I'm going to add the videos too. And I do want to also give you maybe a little tease of the painting I'm working on. I did share this on Instagram, but this is still work in process. This is going to be an interesting one. We can talk about that later on. Hey, Joshua, how are you doing? Hope everything is well with you too. Hey, John. Hope everything is well, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring up for a second here the video as well. And yeah, so I have two painting processes. One is going to be a kind of landscapey, cityscape-ish style, and the other one is going to be more of a cityscape. Both are interesting. I think it's a good example of how not every process works out the way you want. This is going to be the first one that I'm going to share with you in a second. But yeah, Nancy, hey, how are you? Good morning. I have my coffee too. I melted a bit of a real small piece of ice cream in it. Today I'm actually feeling more awake than yesterday. Yesterday was a slog. I don't know why I was so tired for no reason. Hey, hi, Pablo. How are you doing? Been a while, right? Since I've seen you here. Thank you so much from Argentina. Awesome. Actually, so here's a funny thing. This was, I actually asked on Instagram. This is actually from Chile, but when I searched for something to paint, I looked at my old photos from South America, and among them, I have seen some photos from Argentina, from some places I really, really enjoyed visiting. So it was a nice little nostalgic trip for me yesterday overall. Jacqueline, you're working on your website. Oh, it sounds like you're not enjoying that kind of work. Sorry to hear. I actually quite enjoy it. If it's not too technical, I enjoy it. If it's very technical, I don't like it as much. But hopefully you'll get a handle on it. Hey, Pam, how are you doing? Good morning. Marjorie, how are you? Beautiful morning. Coffee, yes, indeed. My taste in coffee changed. I think I talked about it last time. I used to like I don't know what you'd call Americano or coffee with a lot of milk. And I don't know why I hate it. So I tried switching to cow milk from oat milk and almond milk, and I just didn't like it as well. I have no problem with the taste of milk. I have no problem with the taste of coffee, but together it doesn't work. So I'm just drinking espressos, basically. This is an espresso. I simply melted a bit of ice cream into it. That's the main twist there. But yeah, it's been a while since we did a painting process. And I wanted to share with you this today. Now, because I knew I'd have quite a lot to work on, had I done this, had I prepared this to be a real-time painting process, it would take very long. So I resorted to pre-recording a process that I will share with you once again in a second. Hey, Stephanie, thank you for being here. Good morning. Getting ready for an art walk around my town this weekend. I'm participating in. Should be fun. I have no idea what an art walk is. Let me just take a look real quick. Art walk. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I see. I had no idea that's what it was. First time I hear this term. Sounds fun. Sounds really fun. Pam, ice cream, definitely. Yeah, it makes it taste better. With that, I'm okay. I don't know. It's just the coffee and milk together. I don't know why I don't like the taste anymore. And lately I've been just doing an espresso shot in the morning and then maybe drinking again in the early afternoon. Around 2, I think 2 p.m. is when, if I'm tired, it's going to show. That's usually when I get tired. And I work quite intensely from the morning till that hour. So that actually makes sense. Plus working out, finally back to it, proper routine. Jacqueline Lol, yeah, one of the necessary things to do, but maybe it's slow speed of internet drives me crazy. Yeah, that could be annoying. One more thing I don't like as much is when you have to make millions of tiny changes and keep refreshing to see them. You make a change, you refresh to see it. You make a change, and it just takes a long time. That's also something I find funny until you get that design just perfect. Pooja, thanks for sharing. Love your energy. Thank you so much. Nancy, I have black coffee and you don't have to make sure there's cream in the house. Yep, I get it. Yes. You know, the creamer thing that you can get in a large bottle, that's something we don't really have here. I mean, you could probably find it, but it's not very common. I know in the US it's quite common and it's really tasty. So it's a good thing it's not as available here, because that sounds like a lot of calories I don't need. So yeah, it's funny. Hey, Hillel, how are you? Thank you for being here. Hillel Shmuel. Jacqueline, good luck. Stephanie, my artworks will be the 19th. Oh, cool, cool, cool. So there are dates for that. A bunch of locations in the downtown area of my small town hosting artists. Yeah, that will have to be in a place where there are, I guess, enough artists. Here, I've never heard of such a thing here. There's like open studio, stuff like that, but not really art walk. That's cool. Yeah, you'd rather paint, right? Yeah, I woke up, you know, some mornings I wake up with really, when I think about all the things I need to do, I don't have much motivation, I'll be honest with you, but the one thing I always have motivation is painting. And if it's a process I'm interested in, I also have motivation to film it. So one thing I noticed is sometimes if I have a rough start to the morning, I just start working on a painting and then I'm good. So yesterday I figured it out and I did the sketch for this one. And today I started painting it. It's still unfinished, of course. Everything here is going to be darker in the foreground, making the sky really well lit. Hopefully it will work out. These are the kinds of scenes I find quite challenging. There may be a lot of work still needed to be done for the details and in the sky too. But I don't know, we'll see. Worst case, I'll just do another version. I really want to nail this scene. I don't know why. It reminded me of the day I visited there, and it was a really gloomy, somewhat wintry atmosphere, even though the morning was all day was sunny, and then just the evening. I don't know. I have a strong nostalgia for this view, so I would like to try and paint it properly. So we'll see about that. I think we can jump into the first process. So I'm going to add this here. I'm just going to let it run. So what's cool about this process is I worked on it quite loosely. The other one too is quite loose. But what you'll see here is a lot of kind of a la prima going at it the first time and an attempt to get all the details in one go, essentially, barely any layers. And even if I layer stuff, it's while the paint is still wet. Now, so I'm starting with the sketch. I'm going to establish the main shapes, but this sketch is just, you see, it's very rough. It's I do have some experience. I can just throw it in quite fast. Not everyone will be able to do that, and that's fine. I often benefit from having these very loose sketches. It opens up opportunities for the paint. I don't know why, I'm just like that. The dirty palette will also be a plus here because I'm going to use it to paint the moody sky. You can see the sky here is quite moody. This was a photo I took in Amalfi in Italy, around that area. I don't remember exactly where, but some kind of a coastline. Was really a nice weather. I did paint a large version of this scene diagonally, which turned out really interesting, and sold that painting. So I thought I'd give it another go with a bit of a different format. We'll see how it goes. But this is a great preparation for that. Now, if you have any questions about the process, of course, feel free to ask. I did notice a bit of blue down there below with the sky. Hey, Sean, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. And you see I go straight into the details. So I recognize there's a lot of darkness there of trees. This is basically a very neutral green. So I mix my neutral tint and just the green I have there on the palette. You can see it. You can see my mouse cursor barely. It's here. I don't even know exactly what pigments are here. I know this is French ultramarine. I know just a couple of them. But for the most part, I have no idea what I'm using here. But I know visually if it's going to work or not. So it's interesting. going straight to the darks, and look at this beautiful transition, something I wanted to make use of. And I'm fine with this line drying somewhat, some areas of it drying. It's totally fine. That's something people are often worried about. Not here, I don't really care about that. And then I'm going to place this little building up top, just letting all the paint mix, see? And there's a great fun in just placing the paint, not worrying too much about drying times and so on, just following your instinct. You will mess it up, of course, especially in the beginning. That's fine. Joshua, do you prefer painting at night or day? Because I often have more motivation to paint at night and create better artworks. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. It could be either for me. I enjoy the natural light, so I have a better time, generally speaking, painting in daytime with natural light from the window. I much rather that over having that over artificial light. I don't like that as much. But at night, I have a lot of artistic motivation regardless. Like I really enjoy writing and planning and thinking, and I can fall into the trap of working till too late. Up to an hour, I'm no longer effective. So that's something I usually need to watch out for. So yeah, you see me putting in all sorts of neutrals. Hey, Fiona, hope you're doing well, by the way. Thank you for being here. So you see me using all sorts of neutral colors, pinks and oranges. This is pretty much the colors of the buildings there. Now, a lot of people are confused. I'm going to pause this for a second. A lot of people are often confused by these kinds of buildings, right? Like, what color is it? And you can find the full-size reference photos in the description box. And by the way, I can just upload one of them. I'll show you this one. A lot of people are often confused by these colors, and usually it's the colors that are close to white but aren't white, and people wonder, is it a yellow? Is it a brown? What color is it? The reality is this is all over the place. Like the colors you see here are really all over the place. It's a combination of lots of colors, but what you'll often see is it circles around gray. There's gray in the middle, and then all sorts of tertiary colors around it. In fact, let me see if I can show you over on Photoshop, just something I don't usually do during live streams, but I think it's going to be interesting. If I get rid of this for a second, and I'm going to share, present, share screen window. I'm going to share with you my Photoshop window. So you'll see here, usually what you'll get is something that circles around the gray. So if this is gray, this will be the middle. And then every time it's going to be stretched to different area. And I think I should go with a lighter gray. So let's do this. With these walls of buildings and things that have a really misleading color, what most beginners do is they make the mistake of going like this, yellow, whereas it's not. What it is often is a version of gray. So it will stretch it a bit to, I can just use this here, stretch it a bit towards the red or towards the slightly yellow, right? But it's not a strong yellow. And it's all of these beautiful, very loose colors that reflect the environment that tend to make up these kinds of views, right? So if you look at this kind of a thing here, right? There's a lot of these variations of color that are very, very, can I add both? Yeah, but you won't see. You see how it's just the reds and the yellows, mostly oranges. And that's something often missed by beginners, which is fine. I miss it a lot sometimes too. Stop screen, present, share screen window. There we go. Back to the process. So this is what you see here. I'm playing on those grays. I'm moving around from, yeah, neighbor colors is another good way to call it. What binds them together is they all have the same level of colorfulness, saturation, which is a low level. And that really helps bind all the colors together. And then for the stronger colors, I would say the water here is a bit of a stronger blue. That's where you do increase the saturation a bit, and it makes it a prominent feature of the painting. And you'll see once I add the water here, it's going to look nice. Now, again, this is not my best work by far. It's just a way of painting the scene with immediacy, which I absolutely love. So you get to see what this process is and how you could extrapolate it to a larger painting or a smaller painting that is a little more dedicated when it comes to the details. Funny enough, now that I think about it, this little painting I've shared with you here for a bit, I've used a similar approach to paint that. So you see now here I'm starting to break that pattern a bit by introducing these strong blues. I will kind of mute them down a bit later. They do stand out a bit. Now, you could go for that. That is fine. I like the way they look. It's just not exactly the look I was looking for. So you'll see me kind of making them a little more gentle, a little less poppy, if that makes sense. So yeah, and now I'm starting to dive into a little darker colors. Now here, I would say I might be a little, not impatient, but I'm misjudging how dark I went as fast as I went, because I am thinking of areas that are still wet where I want to counter that wetness, or where I want to create a smooth transition. Usually for these kinds of areas, you do need to use thick paint. But when I'm doing wet and wet in these lighter areas, there's no need for that. So that's one thing I almost haven't thought of, which is fine. It's still going to work out at the end. Now, when you look at this kind of a scene, I think it's interesting to see how it's gradually building up the full context and impression. One thing that a lot of people get stuck on is the ugly stage, the confusing stage where you're not sure if things are working. The thing is, sometimes you have to fill everything in, including the water, including the coast, including the foam, in order to know what's not working. That's very often what happens. Now, right now, in terms of big shapes, we still haven't put in the water, right? But there's one more important thing. If you compare the sky to all of this mass of land, right? You'll see in the reference photo, the sky is lighter than everything. Even this building that's seemingly light, it's still darker than the sky. I still haven't gotten there. I will get there the more details I add. So that's one thing. If you're looking at the overall context and you're asking why is it still not connecting, that's the thing. And sometimes you won't notice it until you put the water in and the foam and the beach and the sand. It takes time for these things to show. And by the way, one could paint this painting with a completely different approach. You could use a more meticulous approach, a more of a section by section. You can do a large wash covering everything, like the sky and a bit of the water and land, and only then start bringing the details. There's an endless way to attack this scene. And thank you, Nancy. Yeah, these are some of my favorites to use. And I'm using the photo when it comes to colors almost as a reference that's very loose. I don't really care for the exact color. I'm trying to capture the overall feel. So this building right here is more of an orange, and I was more of a pink, right? That's because I'm trying to capture the overall color scheme. I don't really care which building is what color, and hopefully I managed to do that. Goyal, why did you make dark gray lines for the buildings before doing a wash for the area first? Yeah, it's a good question. Sometimes I like to, I think you referred to this area. Yeah, sometimes I like to, because I'm painting based on such a loose sketch, I kind of like to place in a drawing with the watercolor. And what I find is later on, if I just jump to the future, it'll be barely noticeable. So it's a good way for me to hint at where I'm going to place the buildings, almost drawing them to get a more complete look. Now, one could say, why not just sketch them out? Because if I had everything sketched out in front of me, I'd lose that sense of freedom. And I'd much rather have that sense of freedom and think on my feet in the moment, rather than have everything prepared for me. That's often how I paint best. This one is a little more planned and careful in a way, but still. And if you look at the pesto painting, that one is really well planned. So it's a matter of mood and really feeling and what you're feeling like at the moment. At the end of the day, you have to almost be fully selfish all the time to always listen to yourself and what your gut is telling you about how to paint something. If you start thinking about how it should be done, it's a very distracting voice that can take away from your freedom. Hey, Isla, bonjour to you too. Thank you for being here. So yeah, now we're introducing a strong color, a relatively strong color in that blue. It's funny because I think this is one of the more well-matched colors. You can see here, quite close to the reference photo. Now I'm attempting to leave a bit of foam here just to have the feeling of water crashing against the coast. Now I'm introducing a bit of stronger blues. This is what I like to do. Sometimes I'll introduce a color and then figure out if it's working or not. I figured out I need to lift just a bit from the left side so that I have enough to darken on the right side. This could have been the wrong move. I'm actually not sure. Now, as we move down, notice how this does turn into a bit more of a gray, even warm. So my way of describing that is by starting to warm it up, actually, as we get closer to the foam. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean this is the accurate color, but I'm trying to capture the gesture, so to speak, capturing the entire movement. And the entire movement for me is moving from a cool to a warm, from a blue to a brown, or from a blue to a gray. A lot of the things I do, there isn't really an explanation to, right? It's just what I kind of felt like doing, what felt right at the time. Stephanie, what blue is that? It's this blue. I can check for you and see if I have it written down. Let me take a look. I have the names of the colors here. 1 second. I should have it somewhere around here. Yeah. So from what I can gather, if I take a look at the palette, it could be either I think it's the M-grams anthraquinone blue. I think that's what it is. That's what I have written down here. Anthraquinone, anthraquinone. Yeah, it's anthraquinone blue, I think, which is a blue I like. I liked it a lot in a different palette I was using. And it says by M-gram. Let me see if that makes sense. M-gram anthrac. Actually, I want more of it if I can. If that's the... Yeah, I think it's this one. I think it's anthraquinone blue. Now, it could also be M-gram's Prussian blue. Let me see here. Sorry, I don't have that information in front of me. You know how I am with colors. I'm really just going with my gut. I would say, that's a good question, watercolor. I don't know why the image search brings such lame results. Yeah, I would say it's the anthraquinone blue. I think that's what it is, hopefully. Goel, when you started, I wondered why you were painting the sky gray and only adding blue at the end, but now the sky has automatically started looking lighter. Yes. And that's the biggest confusion with watercolor. It's so misleading. You have no idea. I'm going to give you an example, again, with this painting I'm working on right now. Like this river is supposedly lighter water. You have no idea how dark the value is. It's crazy. When you place it in front of a just white piece of paper, it's probably at least this dark, if not more, probably closer to this. So, and probably more even. It's just crazy. It's really misleading. That's just the nature of it. Plus, it's going to dry lighter. It's all of that together. It's very confusing. Stephanie, haha, that's okay. Some of my colors are so old, I have no idea what they are either. Yeah, I just place the color on paper and see what it looks like. Now, one more fun thing to have in mind. Again, remember, context. Until you have the full context, it's very hard to tell what's inaccurate. So right now, we don't have the sand here, and the sand is what's going to make the foam foamy. Right now, it's all light. It's all white. As soon as we add that, we're going to see it. So yeah, what are you? Let me know in the chat, everyone. What's your what painting do you plan on painting next? To me, it's definitely this one. I'm going to finish it hopefully today, but I wonder what your what your plan is. Do you plan on painting a landscape, a cityscape, something personal to you? Maybe these are what I find work best. These are memories from my past or people I care about turn out like the best paintings ever. That's usually how it works for me. Now, as for the sand, look at the. I'm going a little stronger on purpose towards the brown because it's a warm color. And as I'm going to darken it later, it's going to make more sense. It's going to look more like what it should. Now, here I'm running into a problem that you may be familiar with, and that is when you go with a very thick mixture, it tends to leave these marks on cold press paper. That's fine. It's part of it. It's pretty much unavoidable if you're starting quite strong. So the way to avoid it is to use watercolor. No real way around it. Okay, let's see what you plan on painting. Jacqueline painting pumpkins. That makes sense. I think it's soon time to paint pumpkins, right? In a short while. Stephanie, my next painting is my friend's garden. Going to give it to her as a gift. Oh, that's cool. Is it a surprise? Can you go and paint there? Because that would be amazing. Plein air. Booty pig, some spooky castle. That's awesome. Fuse blower, how are you doing? More illustrations for my doomed diner visual novel. Hopefully finishing in time for Halloween. Awesome. That's cool. I'd like to see an example. I don't think I've seen one. Feel free to send it to me. Marjorie, farm landscape with cornfield and barn. Cool, that's fun. That is fun. To me, it's been a weird thing with finding references. One thing I want to do now is darken this area and then start maybe designing some of the foam, make it look better, and also maybe starting to bring more mass to these buildings and this thing here in the background, this piece of land. But again, it's not going to be a perfect painting. It's more of a study, maybe towards a larger painting. I've been looking at a lot of the things I've painted lately, and I just don't feel like painting the same things. I don't know why. I think in the last 2 weeks or so, I'm more attracted to landscapes, actually. I find them more interesting if I have a connection to them. If it's something I've seen with my own eyes, it gives me some sense of nostalgia. So I've been looking at a lot of old photos that I took. Old is like 2013, something like that, over a decade ago, and finding my desire to paint there. I find that it's not about manufacturing a desire to paint. It's more about finding the thing that very naturally makes me want to paint it, you know. Everything is pumpkin spice latte. You know, I've never tried pumpkin spice latte. We don't use pumpkins this way here. It's not as common, actually. The whole pumpkin spice, the sweet pumpkin tastes, it's not as popular here. I would like to try it one day, for sure. Now here I'm giving more mass to the building. So I'm starting to, should have used maybe a more neutral color, but you'll see me bringing some, making them a part of the scene more by making them solid, making them a little darker compared to the sky. That's an important thing here. I'm not going to do it to all the buildings, just some, but it is important. I did paint their plein air last month, going to make more polished painting. Oh, that's fun. So you can use that as kind of your reference together with a photo. That works really well. I like it. Stephanie, love farm landscapes. Yeah, live rural-ish Illinois, so lots of farmscapes. Oh, that's fun. That is fun. I definitely feel like doing a plein air of such a view. That would be fun. Now here I get a vague edge between the buildings and the sky. So you see this thing, I'm now adding this building in. The truth is, when it comes to painting, and here I'm starting to introduce some orange rooftops, felt like it was needed. Sometimes I will feel like painting something loose like this and kind of going crazy. Other times I'll feel like being more accurate and more deliberate. It's really a matter of mood. And when I did these, I felt like just going crazy on paper. Like, look at these marks. I have no idea what they are. Hopefully I'll add something to it later. But it's just a matter of mood, you know? And sometimes and I feel like right now I really want to paint something more accurate, which is why I have this one I'm working on. Goyal, are you also using kind of dry brushing on purpose, or is it a brush? Yeah, I'm using it on purpose just to get a dark paint and to maybe get a feeling of texture just by the way I place the brush against the paper. Yes, it's usually deliberate. It's not always the best decision, but usually I do it on purpose. Whatever comes out of it, maybe could be better. But yeah. Marjorie, good morning. Made alive. I like the goof morning. That's funny. Made alive. Wow, just started some simple line and wash small paintings. That's fun. This painting reminds me of Catalina Island. Yeah, I think it had some similarities. You just Google searched. Yeah, it's similar. I think I painted a scene from there once, a long time ago, with that rounded structure. I like that a lot. There's definitely some similarities. And yeah, so now you see I'm adding a few of these just marks to give the water direction. Again, this process, what is it like? Yes, about 16, 17 minutes. If I really want to make something that's more accurate and more true to the source, it would probably take at least, depending on the size. This size, maybe an hour and a half. But if it's double size, so you get about A3 size, that would take maybe 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, I love that round building. Yeah. So yes. Nancy, have you... Oh, this is important, actually. I'm adding the feeling of foam with my white gel pen. So you'll see I'm just adding a few hints of the foam where it creates these... It looks like a net almost, you know? I like that a lot. Have you ever repainted something you painted in the past to see how you would paint it now? I think someone mentioned that before. Yes, I have. And I think it wasn't really to see how I would paint it now. It was more I felt a strong desire to paint it again, to express my feelings towards the scene again. And then it's fun to do the comparison. Yes, it is. Usually that's why I do it. And it's rare for me to just discover something old and want to paint it, like this scene from South America. Usually I'll just look at a painting and I'll remember the reference for it, and I'll be like, yeah, maybe I want to try out that scene again. Not as much to see how it would turn out or how I would approach it, but rather I just really want to express it again. Yeah, that's usually how I feel about it. All of these small windows and details there, that looks quite nice to me. When you layer light and dark, or place light and dark right next to one another, like these windows here to the right, I quite like that effect. And now what you'll see is this is almost done. If I go exit full screen, just to give you a bit of a zoomed out view, sometimes it's fun. I went a little overboard. Now let's go something like this. So you can see how it has the gist of the scene, the essence of it. Now, it all should be darker now that I look at it. Funny enough, I fell into my own illusions, which often happens. I didn't do any round of, okay, a break, let's look at it, and then continue. But had I done that, I'd probably be like, okay, I glaze over everything. And we can actually do it later if you want to. I think it'll be quite easy maybe to fix it and just darken the whole thing, put it more into context, give it more I guess more of a sense of three-dimensionality. I have it right here, actually, the painting. You know, it could be fun. It could be fun. Maybe we'll do that. It'll take a second. I can just glaze on top of it and show you kind of how it turns out. Now I'm strengthening some of the contrast I talked about earlier. Just shaping some of these windows to have an interesting look. But honestly, I was really loose with this one, really loose. Just the action of painting, the dancing with the brush over paper is the thing that guided me most here. Sometimes I allow it to take precedence over accuracy, over, you know, result, right? And I have a lot of fun with these. And I think this one is done. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm probably going to sign it with my white gel pen. So let's try this as an experiment. I'm going to switch over to the desk, and we can do just one glaze over it and see if we can better tie it together with the scene. Because right now what I'm noticing is indeed that it should be, darker altogether, including, I would say, the sand. So let's do that. I'm going to stop sharing. I wasn't really planning on doing it, but I don't know, it's fun. So settings, I'm going to switch over to, I think it should work. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, but it's upside down. Yeah, there's this weird issue. I can try and paint it upside down for you. I don't think I'll be able to flip it, though. So if you don't mind seeing it upside down, and then I'll hold it up. Is there a different solution? I wonder. Yeah, it'll have to be this way. Okay, I know what I'll do. I'll paint it rotated for you. Let me just make sure, yeah, my audio is good. So I'm going to rotate the painting, and I'm going to paint it rotated for you so it's easier to understand what you're looking at. A bit of a risk move, but we'll go for it. And hopefully you'll enjoy it. And then I'll continue and look at some of your comments in the chat. So, seeing that we're going to start with the sand here, I'm going to start with a warm. So I'm going to mix right here, but it's mostly going to be in neutral colors. So there we go. I'm using the painting as my kind of guiding source. The painting and the reference together. So let's see. I'm going to cover this. Hopefully my signature will stay intact. And it's a good opportunity to cover up these areas that are paper white from earlier. And it's also a good opportunity to soften some of the edges. I think I moved it, though, closer to already to the reference photo. It's going to be very light kind of treatment. So let's go ahead and mix this warm-ish color. I'm going to cover all the buildings with it. So I'm going to use some of my yellows, some of my reds. We're going to mix something neutral. Look at this. Now, I would say just cover the whole thing up and make it more attached. Even this I would cover. So let's see if that works. You tell me what you think. Cover this. Cover these in their entirety. Because I do want to separate this whole thing from the sky, especially. See? And you tell me if you think it worked. Hopefully it did. And I can bring it over to the table. And we'll switch over settings. Oops, but I can't flip it upside down because I want it to dry properly. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to hold it upside down for a second because I painted it from top to bottom this way. But I think this should kind of create the effect we're after. Let me dry it a bit. See? Now I think it's a bit more anchored, right? And it's a very loose treatment that I painted it using. Now let's see if I can just darken a bit of that more. Maybe I'll add a bit more. I know you can see. I'll give it a bit more color maybe here and there. Yeah. And I think it's a little better now. It's more attached to the scene. I even added 2 more warm buildings. Maybe I went a little too red there, but that's fine. I'll lift that back up. Sorry, I wasn't prepared with the setup to paint, but wasn't planning really on painting today. But you see, I think now it's a little more attached to the scene, especially if you compare it to, present again, let's look at the video here. You see, now I think it's a little more, can I do this? No, I can't. Okay, maybe like this. You see, it's a little more anchored in. Now, of course, it's very sloppy, but even from afar, you know, if you do this, right, it feels like it's a little more anchored, right? That's the goal here. So I quite like the way it turned out. I can scan it later and show you if you want to see the end result. But quite a fun painting, I would say, quite a fun process. Let's go back to this setup here. Hadar, hey there, do you have any tips for painting a second layer of defined elements? For example, a ball, to get a realistic look, or at least something that wasn't created in Adobe Illustrator. A second layer of defined elements. So So it depends. Sometimes if it's a ball that has smooth transitions to it, I'll try and paint it in one go. But if I'm glazing, let's say there's a sharp shadow and I want to add that sharp shadow. What I personally tend to do is err on the light side, meaning I mix something that's a little lighter than I think. Because I personally had this problem in the past where I would paint things way too dark, especially the layer that comes on top of something. Now, you could be like me, or you could be the opposite, which is people who paint everything too light. That can happen as well. Let me add a second camera. I'm going to add the desktop so you can see the painting here in the background. There we go. Okay. So you can see the final result. So my tip, if anything, would be to understand your own way of painting and your own maybe issues, common issues, and figuring out how to get over those. If you talk about, what colors to use, this is a whole topic, right? What color is the shadow? And I'm going to talk about that in a couple of future videos. I actually have a video on the topic coming up soon of what color is the shadow. I think you'll enjoy. But yeah, I think this is the main thing. If you want to ask a follow-up, because I'm not sure, hopefully that answers the question. Feel free to ask a follow-up, though. One Mule Kicker. Can you suggest a brush comparable to Levinson at a lower price point? Seem hard to find a synthetic mix so versatile. I'm not sure what the this brush by Levinson brushes is made of, actually. But I would go for something like this. It's a bit of an organic bamboo grip. It does give you a lot of the benefits of the tip is quite versatile. You could use it for a lot of different shapes, and it's really good for wet and wet, from my experience. So I would look into Michael Soloviev's. I have a video on those too. My recent video on brushes 2024, I think. It's called something like my must-use brushes in 2024. I think those would be comparable. Now, I don't know if they're a lower price point. I think if you get the set, it's a little cheaper than buying one Levinson brush. Now, if you have a specific Levinson brush you want an alternative to, feel free to email me with this specific model, and I'll see if I can find something similar. The reality of brushes is you kind of have to go to the local store and use them and see what works for you, because it will really depend on what you can get in your area, right? To me, still, a Skoda is the most useful for any size of painting, any type of shape. It's the most versatile to me. But not everyone can get these. And I think depending on the type of brush, they could be cheaper than Levinson. But they're different. You won't get the bamboo grip. It's a different feel, let's say. Stephanie, absolutely love the mood you created in the painting. Got to go get my kids ready for the day. I look forward to finishing this later tonight. Thank you so much. Awesome. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. And hope you hear this once you catch up tonight. Goyal, hey, we can just rotate our phones, yes. But then I'll be rotated. That's a problem. Definitely, even though you added a warm wash to the painting because it was darker, it made the whole painting cooler and more cohesive, even with the red additions. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's the main thing to me. Can we do it before and after? I'll figure it out later. I think we can, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, I don't have a scan of the previous stage, so no, we can't. That's fine. I could take I'll maybe do a post later showing it like before and after, because it does make a difference, these little washes that you add, Flubby Bobby, you've joined the Stanley Club. I'm not sure what that means. The Stanley Club. I'm so bad with references. Did I join it? What is it? I'm not sure. But thank you for being here, my friend. Marjorie, do you ever use sea sponges? I haven't in years, but I need to. I need a process of painting, especially trees and out of focus backgrounds. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've seen some of it before. Truth is, I'm not that good with using weird materials like that. I've seen people use sea sponges, using random twigs and branches, all sorts of objects that help you create cool patterns and in an easy way, but also very creative way. The reality is I'm not that good with using tools like that. I'm not an advanced primate. Primate is the word? Yeah, primate is a Pokemon. So my apologies for that. No, I don't think I've ever tried it. So sorry. Don't have a good insight on that. But yeah, so this has been the first process. I think we can do another one. So this one's a little crazy. Stanley Cup. Okay. It means you have a Stanley Cup. Sorry, I forgot the other people aren't. It's terminally online. Oh, I love the term terminally online. I'm familiar with it, actually. I am terminally online, though, I feel like. So I just didn't know that that's considered a Stanley Cup. This, by the way, had color on it. It was gray, and then the gray peeled off, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah. Yeah, but the collab confused me. But yes, I'm online way too many hours. I know way too many memes. I've seen too much. So let's remove this. Stop camera. So the second process, I would say, is a little crazy. So you'll have to forgive me. So it's a scene I wanted to explore for a while now. And feel free, again, to share your thoughts and so on as I bring the video up. And I'm seeing your comments in the chat. I'm seeing the messages as I do this, so don't worry. For those cat videos, yes, I'm in the niche of dogs more. Funny dogs, dogs talking, dogs being silly, dog memes. Now it's a bit of dogs and babies. It's whatever the algorithm sends my way sometimes. Yeah, I doom scroll too. The fact that everyone here is familiar with the terms, that's the problem. Yeah, doom scrolling. Yeah, I don't do that as much. I'm good at catching myself doing that. There are some channels and content that I enjoy, and I spend too much time watching that as I work usually, but still. Not so much with generic stuff. The whole doom scrolling on Instagram in bed, that's the only time it happens, just sometimes and a little before bedtime. It's not too long, though. It's a pink cup. Looks like a Stanley Cup. I feel the same way about being online. Anyway, I'm excited to watch you paint. Thank you. Yeah. What's a coffee house painting? Oh, I missed this. Isabel Demsky. Hi from Michigan. I'm making small coffee house paintings. Okay, yeah. So is it like a view from inside a coffee house? Or I'm curious to hear. I have videos of my cat on a leash. Those I like. Cats absolutely hate these. Yeah, I do like funny cats. I like them. I don't know if anyone has watched this. One of my favorite videos, Liron, I posted a video of my dog picking blueberries and eating them. Yeah, that's fun. Like going gently like this, and then that's cute. I love these videos. Now, my favorite is cat stalking, though. There's this video of someone opening the door, and there's a cat on a mattress. The mattress stands against the wall, and the cat is just like this on the mattress. And the woman asks the cat, "Are you stuck?" And the cat goes, "I am." And it's not like they say. It says "I am," but it's actually just meowing. That was one of my favorites. Maybe you caught that one. I am. It's so good. What other cat talking vids I watch? There's the crazy ones that make funny noises, but the ones they talk are my favorites. I drew in coffee house for years now using those compositions. So like interior of a coffee house for small oils. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I still haven't used the oils I purchased, by the way. You saw it. Yeah, it's so funny. I love these. So I'm going to hit the plate. So this is a scene I wanted to paint for a while now. It's from, I believe, Brooklyn Bridge, though I may be mistaken. I just really like that strong sunlight and the metal against the water. You've seen me paint a bunch of Brooklyn Bridge scenes. This is another one. Now, I knew for the first color I put on paper that I'm going to use some crazy colors. So it's a part of it. You have to embrace it. And look at the end result. It's going to be messy, wacky. Not my best work at all, but I like it. It has some charm. Flubby Bobby, I like the video of the cat running in front of a delivery man, and it sounds like it says hello. So polite and cute. Yeah, I don't remember if I saw this one, but it's good. It sounds good. People drinking coffee. Cool. And when you say small oils, how small is it? Is it like a tiny, I don't know, like 4x4 or something like that? Because I've seen some wonderful oil paintings recently, and you can capture quite a bit in small format. I don't know why with watercolor I don't feel like that. I find that there's a minimum dimensions I need to capture everything. Jacqueline, I ask my cats every morning who's hungry. They say me. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know how people capture these moments. They're hilarious. There's this. Oh, 5x7 and 3x4. Yeah, okay. So that's what I imagined. I was close when I said 4x4. Funny. I imagined the square for some reason. There's a video I posted a while ago, kind of lost to time, but it's on the channel. It was Ruth's birthday video. By the way, I don't know why the connection shows as slow. Hopefully the quality isn't that bad. It was Ruth's birthday video, and in it you can see her shouting at the vacuum cleaner, which I found hilarious. And she does these weird noises like "oh," like this as she's yelling at it. She has a really Frenchy voice, so it's funny. 5x8, so that would be 12 centimeters by, I guess, 20, maybe, I think. Yeah, that's cool. What I like about small paintings is you get to yeah, I'm multitasking really seriously during all live streams, actually. What I like about small paintings is you can really dedicate your all to them. It's a small size, you know, it won't take too long, and you can really paint every small detail and have it look wonderful. That's something really fun. I think for watercolor, it works better on hot press paper because the cold press texture does get in the way when you paint small. It influences the lines and the details. But yeah, Florio, Liron, casually sketching, chatting, reading, chat, multitasking. Yes. That's definitely something the live streams have taught me to do. Now, this is a fun part. So what I've done so far is I'm placing everything that is not the blue. So I'm kind of placing in a bit of yellow to hint at this warmth, and a bit of yellow here, and a bit of, I went with red. I knew it's going to be weird, but I just went for it. And my plan now is to paint the blue around them. You've seen me do this, work this way several times before. It's a high risk, high reward approach in a way. Usually it ends with the risk happening, not the reward. But it is fun. It is a fun way to do it. Hey, Ryan, hope you're doing well. Good morning, afternoon, evening to you and everyone here from Venice, Florida. Awesome. Yes. So Florida should be around what? Almost 9, not 9, sorry. Almost 10 a.m. maybe? Yeah, almost 10, I think. Here it is currently 6 minutes to 5 p.m. That's where I'm at. So yeah, you see, I'm painting the blue in between, alternating that ultramarine and anthraquinone. Anthraquinone, was it? Or was it a different one? I forgot. Anthraquinone, yeah. Anthraquinone blue, which I quite like. Painting around the darks, painting the lights, essentially. Sometimes I'll do that. Why an idiot? You're good. You're not an idiot at all, my friend. And here's where, oh, now I see. I joined the stream late, and I thought you were painting and chatting live. Scared me because of a moment I thought you had 3 hours. Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm going to do. Well, I did paint it a bit and chatted, but yeah, not like this. This one's dry, by the way. I think it looks really good. I can show you later. I can scan it later, show you the end result. Now, you see something happened here. This dried, okay? That's a problem. This, for example, did not dry. So here we got a smooth transition. Yes, there's a bit of green there, but that's fine. This has dried, so we're getting this awkward feeling thing. Can I zoom in here? No. subtitles text, like there's subtitles. Would be interesting to see if I can zoom in. Video, zoom. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Oops, no, that's not what I'm after, zoom. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Zoom, double. Yeah, it's just the size of the screen. Doesn't help anyone. But yeah, so this was kind of my bet. Okay, this is the sky. Now I'm gonna start establishing the ground. What you'll see is I was a little too sloppy. I think that was the problem here. You'll see me kind of working fast. I just enjoyed painting. Sometimes I enjoy the act of painting. What comes out on page is a bit of a mess. I'd rather have it this way, though. That sky. Oh, thank you. You like it? I mean, I think it looks super strange, but if you like it, that makes me happy. Ryan, by the way, I saw some similar brushes to the ones you guys were talking about on Michael Solovyev's website. Different kind of bamboo and hake brushes. Also, Yongchen has a similar line. Oh, he has his own brushes? Because I haven't seen Yongchen using similar ones. This guy, I have no idea how the drying machine has finished working, so it's beeping. Hopefully, it'll stop on its own. I have no idea how Yongchen does what he does. He's crazy. He has like super large brushes, and he's painting small details with them, and he's waiting to the last second he can put. So let's say he has a shape on paper. He's waiting all the way till it's almost dry. This edge is almost. Then he puts the shape next to it, and somehow it worked, and they merged together. That's how I'm feeling. But I really can tell he stretches it, and I don't know how he developed this perception. He's like a machine. This guy. He's so good at capturing things accurately. I have no idea. Anyone else watch Yongchen here? I occasionally, like once every couple of weeks, I'll get a recommendation for one of his videos. I'll click that, and then I'll watch 5 more. And then I won't watch him for another couple of weeks. That's usually how it happens for me. But it's funny. Thank you. Better than the photo. I don't know. It's very hard to compete with this photo. I will be honest. But yeah. So now the idea is, okay, I'm going to get the buildings and the water and everything and darken, and I'm going to keep that big chunk of light that's right around here. Hopefully you can see it. Now, what's funny is this isn't paper white. This is a little darker than that. So it should be a yellowy warm wash, but whatever. This is me trying to smooth it out, this edge. Of course, it's not going to work. And it's so funny. This shows there's no real correlation between how long sometimes it took to paint something and the result. I think this is a bit of a longer process than the previous one, just a bit. And like I much prefer the previous one. I'm gonna be honest. But you'll see. The more the impression is created, it does make more sense. It does start making a bit more sense. Marjorie, talking of time of day, I'm pleased that today you are 1 hour later because my last treatment ends after midnight and I need to sleep. I get up much later than I'm used to. So thanks. Yeah, thank you. That wasn't deliberate. Actually, I wasn't really planning on doing it, but yeah, the dryer just, I don't know why the drying machine it stops, beeps, and then it does another round if you don't open up the hatch. That's strange. So yeah, we were supposed to have something today that I wanted to make sure I have enough time for. So I said, let's go with, it's 4 p.m. my time. It's either 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. my time. I went with 4 p.m. So yeah, I'm happy it worked out. I know for a lot of people it's worse, that they prefer that I go earlier. But yeah, the reality is I should stream like evening US time, maybe 6 p.m., 5 p.m., but 5 p.m. is 12 at night. So it's not ideal. I could also stream for the early, for the late night owls if I go to bed and then wake up at, I don't know, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and then stream. So 7 a.m. would be 12 at night. So I could either go for a 6 or 12. It's not ideal. Maybe in the future, I'll give it a go. I'll try. Flory Bobby, I agree with Jacqueline. I do prefer the painting. Paintings capture the real world in totally different ways than photos do. Yeah, there is something to it. You know, it is an interesting piece for sure. Hopefully something interesting will come out of it. It's interesting seeing the world through the lens of someone's eyes, for sure. And I'm sure if I would see the end result, I'd be like, oh, that's a really cool one. And, you know, I walked the halls of museums and saw paintings that were like, you can tell the technique is in the strong side, but they still are representational. And I enjoy them a lot. So, you know, I guess it's not everything, right? The accuracy. Eileen, if you sign up for Lemons and Brushes emails, which are not many, he currently has a discount of 20% for a few days. Oh, that's good. I'm not comfortable giving out the code, but it is good through September 8th. Oh, that's nice of you, Eileen, to share. Yeah, definitely go and check that out. I have a coupon code too. I think it should still be active. I believe it's Liron. You'll have to just confirm before you make the purchase that it did apply it, either Liron or Lironian. I think it's Liron. But the thing is, it's going to give you less than 20%, if I'm not mistaken. It'll probably give you 15%. So definitely go the email route if you can. And Tracy's a really respectful guy, so I think I would expect him not to send too many emails. Plus, you can always, I guess, unsubscribe if you want to. I liked it a bit later too. Okay, cool. Do you mean later in the process? We'll see how. We'll see what you think once I'm done with this. Goyal, it's great for me too. It's in India at 7:30 p.m. Yes. I'm great for catching the India evening. That I know. That works out really well. Usually people have to dip out close to the end of the stream because it's getting late. They have to go to dinner and so on. Yeah. Ryan, my palette has a slot left for a shadow color. I'm debating between indigo versus Payne's gray or maybe neutral tint. I usually go for a single pigment, but these all have at least 2 to 3. I wouldn't worry about neutral tint. In my experience, it works really well. It mixes really well with other colors too. What I would worry about is the indigo and Payne's gray, because these have more of a bias. Indigo, let's say Daniel Smith, I'm not sure, let's see. It's a very blue color, so you may experience having all your darks too blue. In Payne's gray, if I'm not yeah, that also is a neutral blue, so I would be very careful with that. Payne's gray, it almost looks like a bit of a green. It's almost like you neutralized a phthalo blue in some brands I see. So that's the thing I would be concerned with. I would personally definitely go for either a neutral tint, or there's another one I've been using quite a bit. If you want me to check, it's like a charcoal black, I think. Let's see. I got this from, I'll show you. I got this from Rosa Watercolors. It's a really fancy box, and it has a bunch of paints in it. And the one I got to use quite a bit is not the indigo. Maybe it's outside the box. I'm not sure. Sepia. Yeah, maybe it's not. Where did I put that color? I think it's useful, so I left it out. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, I have it here. It's called Neutral Black. So this is not Daniel Smith neutral tint, but rather Neutral Black by let me pause this. Let me full screen myself here. This one. Same thing. Let's see what pigments are in this one. It's number 724. Pigment black. Pigment blue, sorry, 15-1. So that's phthalo blue. Pigment black 7. So that's, I think, like charcoal black, if I'm not mistaken, or lamp black. And PR177. PR177, what is that? Let's see. PR177, Daniel Smith. Let's see, Daniel Smith. Wait. Not Daniel Smith. Pigment name, let's see. Anthraquinone red. Okay, so PR177 is Anthraquinone red. Okay, and then PBK7, was it? PBK 7. I think that's yeah. I think that's like a lamp black, or what is that? I'm not sure. I don't find a good answer for that. I'm not finding anything that... But you'll let me know in the chat. I'm sure someone knows. This one works really well. Right, that's a long answer, but this one works really well for me. So I would go with anything as neutral as you can. Honestly, this is what I find, at least. Even if it's not a single pigment, that's still fine. I had Payne's Gray. Yeah, I know a lot of people like it. I have a real issue with black colors that look like this blue. Oops, sorry, I'm not sharing. I'll go back to sharing. Black color that looks like this blue. I don't like it as much. Fuse blower. I love dioxazine violet for shadows. Yeah, that would be like carbazole, similar, right? Dioxazine violet. Did you say purple? Dioxazine violet, yeah. Yeah, that looks nice. I like the purple more. Dioxazine purple looks better in my opinion, but it's really dark and it's really strong. You'd have to neutralize it with a yellow. That would be a downside. But yeah, as a color, it's beautiful. And I guess if you're painting with oils and you're looking for a specific color that looks like that, that would be perfect. Moonglow is also a great one. And Tens Purple. Steve Mitchell has a bunch of videos showing it. Yeah, I think especially if you like illustrating and making things that are semi-representational, Moonglow could work really well. It's not really my taste, though. That's my problem with it. It's not for me. I look for neutral in my black color. Also, what are you using in the mortar and pestle video? Neutral tint? Yeah, so it was this neutral black. I used the same pigment I just took out from the closet to show you. Right now I have a Daniel Smith Lunar Black, Mars Black. I love it, but it's very granulating sometimes. By the way, yes, it's around 10 a.m. Eastern Florida. Cool. Let's see, Mars Black color. What brand is it? Daniel Smith. Oh yeah, Daniel Smith Lunar Black. Let's see. Lunar Black. Yeah, not only that, it has a bit of a warm bias to it. It's not a bad thing. It could work really well. It's not a sepia, but yeah, I see the granulation. I like that, you know. I may end up getting it just to try it out because I've never done a monochrome painting with granulation. I like that a lot, actually. But yes, you would love Neutral Black by Rosa, Neutral Tint by Daniel Smith. To me, they work best. I discovered it like everyone from Alvaro Castanet, but it's just very useful, you know. So I think this starts to take shape slowly. Hopefully it will get somewhere. You see, adding these details is really important because it makes the separation of background and foreground. You will see me struggle quite a bit with these and the tiny brush. I should have rotated the whole thing. I don't know why I lazied out on it, but yeah. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Gataram. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Eileen, I like a neutral color to start with for shadows. You can always add blue, purple, yellow, etc. as needed. Interesting. I've seen people work this way. I know it's quite common too. The way I do it is common as well, starting with the color. I am having a hard time starting with a neutral for the shadows. I don't know why. It never ends up, unless the shadow is very muted, it usually doesn't end up working in my favor. Maybe my black colors aren't transparent enough. I'm not sure. To me, I usually need to start with the almost imagining what the color underneath it looks like and then adding the darks. But yeah, that might be me. Because I have seen a lot of people work this way. I also have seen a lot of people first paint a blue shadow and then adding color to it. Honestly, that's not something I usually succeed in, but it's interesting. Holbein version, what they call permanent violet. Yes, love Bungalow as well. Oh, that's cool. And Dioxazine violet, Windsor violet. Yeah, Windsor and Newton, they just, you know, phthalo blue, Windsor blue. It's so funny. Or maybe they do that for ultramarine, I'm not sure. But they have this tendency to give the what do you call, the more prominent, I guess, colors the Windsor title. Laura, I've done lunar black in monochrome. It looks like old photos. Cool effect. Okay, interesting. I've done a similar car painting like that with something that looks similar to Moonglow, to lunar black. Sorry, I got confused with all the colors. Lunar black. Oh yeah, I get it. It's like a little faded. Yes. Let me see. Yeah, I'm sure it has its charm. I would like to try it out. I haven't so far. And I don't mind the granulation just for an experiment. I don't have many granulating colors, in fact. I have very few. So now if I pause the video, you see how if you squint, or let me just kind of make it a smaller size, you can start seeing the elements of the bridge. At least they look like something, right? Now, what I haven't done here is go back and add back some highlights. And it's a big mess, I would say. I think like this needs, a lot of things need darkening, and a lot of things need polishing, and there's a lot of work here. I could probably take this painting from what it's currently at. I would rate it a brutal 4 out of 10. You might disagree, and that's fine. And take it to maybe 7 out of 10. I could. I think I could. It would be an interesting experience. I'm not going to do it now. I need to do it really focused. I can't do it. Can't get away with doing it like the previous one. But yeah, it could be an interesting experiment to try. Maybe I will. We'll see. Floppy Bobby, I really like the way the water turned out. You can feel the movement. Oh, thank you. I don't see it, really. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see it. These bolts, though, I do see. These bolts, I like the way they turned out. Because you can barely see them here, but they're quite important. Can I go larger than my screen size and then have it be larger on the stream? I wonder. Will it zoom in? Nah, of course it won't. Oh, wait, because I need to wait. Wait a second. I lost the window. Maybe if I do this. I'm wondering what the screen... Yeah, it just does not work. Whatever. But yeah, this is the second process. Let me put the painting here on the desk cam just to show you. Stop screen. I'm going to add extra camera. Sure. Okay. So this is the end result for this one. Again, quite a lot of things to improve here, but I like it. Yeah, okay, good. Yes, YouTube allows zooming in now, right? They introduced that a short while ago, actually, a couple of months, I think, ago. You can zoom in on your phone, too. But yeah, these have been the two processes. Let me move my palette. So, and hopefully they've been enjoyable. You've seen me. The light here isn't so good, but that's fine. Whatever. You've seen me hopefully improving this one a bit in real time. And yeah, I often really enjoy painting this way, letting loose. I find the fun in the act of painting like this. Sometimes you get extremely lucky and the loosest painting turns out perfect. That can happen. I have a good example of this. I think I always give this example. Let's see if I have it here handy. I think I don't. I'll edit. You may know what I'm talking about. Let me show you. This is one of the paintings where I've been almost the loosest, and it's worked out perfectly. And sometimes it doesn't. It's this one. I always talk about it. You'll see in a sec. It's a big file. Should have uploaded a lighter version of it. But yeah, this one. This car, sometimes it works and it looks perfect. And often it doesn't when you paint this way, which is fine. That's very natural. But yeah, this to me is a perfect example of what, like, I go for it. It's loose in one go. And it works out, especially the car that you see right here, the one that's farther. To me, that's like perfect. It's a ghost car. I like it a lot. And sometimes you get duds, and sometimes you get something in between. Sometimes you get good knowledge that will allow you to paint a more accurate version. Sometimes you learn, okay, this color really doesn't work, so I'm going to remove it completely and just use this narrower palette of colors. For example, here, I'm not sure about this green, this French ultramarine green, and I kind of like this green, the anthraquinone blue. Sorry, did I say green all the time? So yeah, maybe I'll remove the French ultramarine altogether from this one. You know, it's these kinds of insights. Thank you so much, Floppy Bobby. I think I read that one. Diane, I saw an artist recently using coffee to paint a portrait on watercolor paper. Cool. Yeah, I tried tea. I talked about it before. It was really hard. Coffee should be easier. And reminds me to take a sip. Floppy Bobby, I like lower detail paintings. Sometimes details take away from the overall painting. Yeah, sometimes. And sometimes it works out really nicely. By the way, I'll give you a good view of this one. Now you can see it better. So this is still in progress. Everything under this point, like here and below, will get much darker. In fact, this river thing will be as dark as the darks here. So it's going to be really interesting. I'll darken the whole thing. And once I'll get that down, the sky will really shine because it will have full contrast with the ground. That's the plan here, at least. And if it won't come out the way I want it to, I'll make another version. I'll probably make another black and white version if this one doesn't come out the way I want it to. Hopefully the clouds make sense because it's a big mess. I'm not a Sergei Tamarev is his name, the artist that paints crazy clouds. Tamarev. Wait a second. Tamarev. I think it's that guy. Yeah, he's crazy with the clouds. I have no idea how he does it. Hopefully I can manage something similar. I'll probably do a remake of this one if I don't like it, because I really feel like I want to paint this scene. Just for fun, if you're unfamiliar with Sergei Tamarev, I'm sure many are. I'm going to share with you Chrome tab. This is Sergei Tamarev's work. I mean, it is really crazy. Check this out. And this. And this. His water and his... This is so awesome. I like it a lot. Same with crashing waves. He's really a master of that. Even this, like a car, that's really cool to see in his style. I think it's his work, yeah. Look at these clouds. So yeah, I have a long way to go till I paint something like this. But yeah, hopefully it will make sense once the ground is there. It's going to really put the impression in the right, I guess, context. But yeah, I enjoy often less detailed, more loose paintings too. Eileen, awesome live. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for being here. T Sketches, hey, hope you're doing well. I always love your profile pic. I always have to say it. I like when there's a sketch that's done masterfully and with simplicity. I find it really impressive. Let's see. Marjorie, thank you, Liron. I did enjoy watching you paint. Both paintings are very good. Thank you so much. Let's put them here. Thank you so much, John. Great live stream. Thank you, Liron. Hope you have a good weekend. Take care. Thank you so much. Goel, thanks, Liron. More than the technique, your live teaches me to loosen up more. Cool. Very happy to hear, Goel, and let me know how it goes. Ryan, just sent you a message to your email of a study I did using Lunar Black so you can see what it looks like. Awesome. Looking forward to seeing it. Oh, I'm excited to see that process. Yes, I will share. I mean, this one I'm not going to share. I don't have a video of, but there will be a couple of really neat processes coming up soon. I'm preparing a lot of vids. The upcoming weeks are going to be extremely busy, so I'm trying to schedule a lot of videos in advance. So I'm trying to get scheduled like a month or two in advance. And I have some really fun videos for you. Chromatic reflective surfaces, different tricks to use shapes to your advantage, the pesto process. It will come. It's going to be a special video. You'll see. And don't worry, I'm going to hint. It's not going to be a straight-on process, but there will also be a process. You'll see. You'll see. Oh, thank you so much, Flurry Bobby, for the super chat. My tip, I guess, towards your caffeine kick. Thanks as always. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that covers like easily a bag of coffee beans for me to enjoy. Thank you so much, my friend. We really appreciate it. I enjoy all sorts of coffee, even though now I narrowed my taste. Sometimes I buy these cans. Everyone makes fun of me. These cans that have, like, it's a prepared coffee. It's sweet and disgusting. People say it's disgusting, but I like it. Probably because of the sugar. I used to drink it a lot in the past. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It means a lot, your support. And yeah, I think this is a good opportunity to wrap it up for today. So I really am happy you enjoyed the processes. I'm going to try to do a more of a live painting process in the near future that I can do real time with you. And thank you so much for being here. Saturday, I already have a video scheduled. I think it's a cool one. Oh, I think Saturday is the chromatic surfaces. So that's going to be a really good video. You'll see. I think it's that one. So Saturday is going to be the 7th, I believe, videos. Oops, I can't see it here. I need to go to my Creator Studio, to the back and content. Yeah, I think 7th. Oh, no, that's for October 1st. So wait, what did I schedule to this weekend? Okay, it's a different one. It's a different one. Still a good one. You'll see. But in any case, thank you so much, Nancy. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being here. Thank you for the kind words. By the way, I believe you sent me an email, right? Yes, I think it's from you. Thank you so much. I have read it. I just haven't gotten the chance to reply to emails. I will. If it's not you, then sorry. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Flobby Bobby, Ryan, Goyal. Thank you for being here. John, Marjorie, Fuseblower, T, Eileen. Really appreciate it. Laura, Diane. Hopefully I haven't forgotten people. I'm scrolling up to see who was here. One Mule Kicker from earlier, Fuseblower, Ryan. Thank you all so much for being here. Really appreciate it. We'll see you on Saturday's vid. I have some really good videos scheduled, so I think you'll really enjoy them. We'll see. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again real soon.